Yeah.
How does your work in accessibility and your lived experience, living with a disability, or and I may not have the best language there, but how does your work and your lens impact and transform the culture of the clients that you're working with?
So with the challenges, I like to also look at the opportunities. So I find part of that is getting people and companies actually to understand the win-win, right, of accessibility as well as inclusion, and realize how people with disabilities as well are too commonly left out of the diversity and inclusion equation. Actually, not just myself being a female and Black, but I also hold another layer of diversity on top of that of being a person living with a disability. So I know from experience, it can be a challenge at times. However, I use it as an opportunity to champion diversity and inclusion, being a voice to the voiceless, and being my unique service proposition of my business. And I find there's many benefits, how it can help transform the work culture and have that impact. And some of those benefits definitely is you're building awareness, right? For sure. It gives you a competitive advantage. It actually will minimize the unemployment gap for people with disabilities. Also, it increases actually a sense of belonging. And efficiently, believe it or not, there's actually over 1 billion people in the world who have a disability, and that's 6.2 million people in Canada alone. So this actually will help close the gap in many capacities. And this is actually from the World Health Organization statistics, just to note. And people don't realize, not just in the workforce, that it will build that productivity and that innovation, but then also at the same time, it can really impact your profit. Because then when you're making things more accessible, just by looking at statistics, there's $6.9 trillion of annual disposable income that would encompass including and making sure things are accessible to people with disabilities. And of course, it's gonna, increase your brand. When it comes to diversity and inclusion, we know many times, many of them that are always identified would be falling under, people of color, gender, LGBTQ community. But unfortunately, the two top ones that are usually not well recognized or excluded are the Aboriginals as well as people with disabilities.
Thank you for that. Thank you for those statistics. Those numbers are important, because I think sometimes we forget. Because I also think one of the challenges is how the disabled community, and I'm mindful of what I've learned in the disability justice movement, but how invisibilized people can feel in those experiences. So I'm so grateful to have made your acquaintance and know that you're out there doing this work.
And just to reiterate, actually, just to be aware that there's both visible and invisible disabilities.
Yes,
absolutely, absolutely. And I was really saying from a general place of that from the work I've the things I've been exposed to in terms of conversations, there's this feeling of because of some of the points you mentioned, that when spaces are not accessible, you're not seeing people out, the full representation of our community. So I'm hearing so much. It's really resonating for me what you're talking about when you talk about the value to our community. I'm mindful of our time. Do we want to what if the ask was, what is how can the community support you? We have listeners and viewers who are watching and maybe listening as they're cooking and doing other things, but we have viewers who are probably really going to benefit from your message right now.
Absolutely. Definitely one way, quick way, easiest way is to become a mentor. In addition to that, BMI would appreciate getting support to continue advancing Black professionals. We are looking for resources, right? We are looking for resources to make our work more efficient. With only 18 months in existence, Leena, we've been able to support over 1,000 professionals and have successfully matched close to 30 mentorship relationships.
And that's within a pandemic year, eh?
Absolutely. But we know we can do more. We currently have about 60 Black professionals waiting to be matched with mentors who can support them.
Okay.
And getting the resources is just paramount in our lists as what we need to do. So for example, we're currently manually matching our mentors to our mentees, and that is so intense and tedious, you know, doing all this research and going back and forth. So obviously getting that resource and getting the support that will help us to expand and continue to provide this vital service that we are providing to today's moms. You know, the professionals of today are the parents of today, of the youths that we need to continue to support for the next generation. Thank you for having me.
And you talked about a fundraiser. I think I want to be a little more bold and say, when you talk about resources, it's funding. And so I know we have a lot of generous community members who are committed to community building. And so I know you have a fundraiser coming up, so make sure you check out their website for details.
Absolutely. On November the 18th, we have a fundraising coming, and yeah, it's not up on our website soon, but soon we will have all of that information out.